Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and that is your girl, Miss K. If this is your first time coming across my channel, welcome. Please be sure to subscribe if you like the vibe and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Alright guys, today we're going to be going over the season premiere of Snowfall, okay? A 2-hour season premiere with episodes 1 and 2, and in this video, we will be going over both. So I'm going to try my best to condense everything so that the video is not so long. Okay, guys, let's get into it. All right, now, episode 1 starts off with Franklin in his room, and he's getting ready to go to a funeral. He also pulls a birthday card from his drawer, and we see that it was received by Melody. All right, I'm assuming this card is old because it's definitely not Franklin's birthday, and Melody done shot him up and kept it moving. And at this point, guys, we don't know where she is, okay? So, before going to the funeral, Franklin goes to Jerome and Louie's club. Well, at least it looks like a club. And he gets the rundown from Louie about how business has been going. Louie lets him know that things are going good with Reed. Officer Nix gets his pay and stays out the way. But there has been no growth in the business. With all the violence in the territories, people are getting nervous. So, where there was once steady flow, things are now slowing down. Louie tells Franklin that with more product coming over the border, it means more competition. And the only reason why they have any sense of control or power is because of how cheap they're getting Reed's product. Next, Franklin, Louie, and Jerome attend the funeral of one of Skully's guys. And Franklin gives his condolences to Skully and tells him that he would like him and Manboy to squash the beef so they can get back to business and making this money. But Skully ain't trying to hear none of that, okay? He tells Franklin that he's going to kill every one of them Compton Negroes. So, Franklin tries to talk to Manboy as well, and Manboy claims that Skully came at them first. So, Franklin is now at an impasse, and he has to figure out what to do now. So, he goes to meet up with Reed and tells him about his little problem. You know, he's like, we need to get these guys on track. We need to stop this war because innocent lives are being taken as well, right? So, Franklin asks Reed if he can help in any way, but Reed tells him that there are some things he can help with and some things he can't, and gang wars is one of the things he cannot help with. But he does tell Franklin about a problem the CEA had back in the 1950s, in which the Middle East was just at an all-time crazy conflict, right? He tells Franklin that the CIA had to choose a side by orchestrating a coup, and even though the side they chose was still a problem, he was still the lesser of the two evils. So basically, Reed tells Franklin that his best way out of this is to pick a side. Back the side that most benefits you. Next, Franklin goes to see Leon and lets him know that he's back and he needs Leon with him. But Leon tells Franklin that he has a project to run and business to tend to, and he can't leave all that behind just to drive him around. And it did seem like a little shot Leon was throwing, right? And Franklin caught the shade too, you know. He was like, drive me around. Like, you know it's way more than that. But you know what, guys? Leon done got a taste of power, and he obviously likes how it feels to be in charge. So it's not going to be easy for Franklin to get him back on board if he ever comes back on board. Anyway, so after Leon tells Franklin that he's good, he walks away from him. And I was like, that's it? This is supposed to be your friend. Like, why are you acting so funny, Leon? Because even if Leon refused to get back on board with Franklin, he could have still hung out with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't seen him in a while. Your mom, Franklin's mother wasn't letting nobody see him. You know, y'all could have caught up. Like, I mean, sheesh. But Leon might feel some type of way about how Franklin spoke to him last season regarding the Manboy situation, right? Franklin did speak to him like he was some kind of lackey, you know. So, I don't know. Maybe he's in his feelings. Next, we have a scene where Manboy and his crew are chilling at their spot. And Boosie is talking trash about Franklin being weak and soft just because he walks with a cane. But Manboy tells Boosie, do not underestimate Saint because his brain still works and that's problem enough. Then a chick comes from the back and she's eager to get Boosie to stop talking and come join her, right? So when she says to Manboy that he should join too, I already knew this was a setup, okay? She was trying to get a 2-for-1. So we know what happens, right, guys? Boosie gets killed and is strung up on a park fence, crucifixion style. And we know that this was Skully's doing because he already made a remark to Franklin at the funeral in which he wondered how they were able to keep Jesus nailed to the cross. Next, Franklin and the crew are talking about the situation, and they know Manboy wants to hit back at Skully. But this is a problem for business because dealers are afraid to be on the corners with the war going on. So Franklin tells them that they're going to pick a side. Get one side to set the other side up and do an ambush. So Jerome immediately says that if they're going to choose a side, they're definitely choosing Manboy because he feels like Skully can't be trusted. And then we see Peaches nodding in agreement. But Louie speaks up and tells the crew that she understands why Manboy is the obvious choice and Skully is crazy, but at least he knows how to stay in his lane. She points out that Manboy is always trying to test them, which is so true, guys. Louie also tells them that if they choose Manboy and get Skully out the way, Manboy is liable to come for them next because he's smart and ambitious, okay? And it looked like the guys were listening to her, but we'll get back to that later. Next, Franklin goes to Skully and tells him that he wants to help him in the war with Manboy by giving him a supply of heavy artillery. But at first, Skully was like, this don't feel right. It feels like a setup. So Franklin was like, okay, if you don't want my help, that's fine. Y'all continue trading losses. And that's when Skully decides that he'll take the bait. But he warns Franklin that if this is a setup, he's going to send everybody he has after him to freak his world up, okay? Next, Franklin goes to Manboy with the same proposition. So at this point, I wasn't sure which side Franklin was backing because he pretty much was telling them the same thing, right? Next, Reed and Oso pay a visit to Avi because he has guns missing. So Reed wants Avi to go to Panama to locate the missing guns. I wasn't sure what Avi's problem was in this scene, but to me he seemed a little off, as if he wasn't telling Reed everything. Anyway, Reed starts going back and forth with one of Avi's guys and winds up firing his gun next to the guy's ear, so now his hearing is all jacked up on that side. Unfortunately, Reed had to do this to show Avi that he's not playing about his guns, okay? And no, Avi, I don't want you sending one of your guys. I want you to go to Panama and see about my guns, your daggone self. See what the holdup is all about, all right? Next, Alton and Sissy are playing Monopoly, and Franklin comes out and tells them that he wants them to come with him to Jerome and Louie's party. He says it would be a fresh year and a new start and the perfect opportunity to bury the hatchet. But his parents were like, no, we'll pass. So Franklin goes to the party without them, and we see that Reed and Oso were invited as well. But when Leon comes through, he causes a scene the moment he sees Oso. So now they got to get in between Leon and Oso, but Oso is chilling, you know, he's not feeding into anything that Leon is doing, like his energy is cool, and we already know that Oso could easily break Leon down, okay? But anyway, Leon pulls the gun on Oso, and Franklin steps in front of Oso to get in Leon's way. Of course, this makes Leon mad because he can't understand why Franklin would choose Oso's side after he was the cause of Kevin's death. But Franklin tells Leon that Kevin died because he wouldn't listen. And before we move on, guys, let's be clear. Kevin died because of his own choices, okay? And that's that. Oso ain't have nothing to do with it. So as far as I'm concerned, this is misplaced anger on Leon's part. Anyway, so Franklin tells Reed and Oso to leave. After they leave, Leon tells Franklin that he's lost and Money has his head all jacked up. But Franklin tells Leon that he thought his time being hurt would at least make Leon grow up and stop acting like a freaking kid, and that he's gonna get himself killed, all right? But Leon tells Franklin that he ain't gotta worry about him anymore because he's done with him. So Franklin says, fine, go find your own plug and do things the way you want. So this scene was a little hard for me because you can see the tension building between these two friends. Now, some of you might be like, building? The tension ain't building, it's there, you know? And yes, you're right. The tension was there in this scene. But when I say that you can see the tension building, I mean for what's to come in the future for them. And that's what scares me, guys. I'm afraid for their friendship, and I don't want to see them turn their backs on each other or turn into enemies. I want to see the love they have for each other. Like, you know, I want to see the Leon who was hella pissed off when he came to visit Franklin in the jail and saw his face all deformed. You know what I'm saying? I want to see that kind of passion. I want to see the Franklin who ran to Leon's side when he got shot and then got revenge for him. That's what I want to see. Anyway, let's move on. So throughout this episode, we see this reporter who has taken interest in the case of Andre Wright, who is Melody's father, or was Melody's father. So she shows up to Melody's aunt's house and she tries to get Melody to answer all these questions. And, Melody asks the reporter why she cares about all this. So the reporter, whose name is Irene Abe, claims that she's interested in the story because she grew up in the Crenshaw district and she's watching it change and no one seems to care. But Melody is kind of giving Irene these robotic answers and tells her that Irene can't stop what the Lord intends and things like that, right? Now, I'm happy that Melody seems to be clean and that she's found the Lord, but her answers were just too robotic for me, almost as if she was brainwashed. All right, next, Franklin gets ready to head out to meet with Manboy's crew and Skully's crew, where there will be an ambush. So as Franklin is headed out the door, his father tries to get him to stay home and watch a movie for old time's sake, but Franklin passed on his father's offer, even though he goes and says, "Thanks, Dad," and he kind of had like tears in his eyes, but this scene was a little sad for me to watch because I'm looking at Alton, who's a father, and he's making a desperate attempt to save his son from the streets, even if it's just for a moment. So that was pretty sad, that he just couldn't stop his son from going out there, and it could have been the end of him, and I think like that's the part that's so scary about what Alton and Sissy are dealing with their son. Anyway, so that's how the first episode ended, guys. Now we're going to go right into the second episode, which starts off with Franklin's crew and Manboy's crew at the warehouse waiting for Skully and his crew to come. So we now see whose side Franklin chose, right? He chose to go with Manboy. And to me, this is a big mistake for all types of reasons. Anyway, Peaches has a hard time getting one of Manboy's guys to chill the freak out and stop acting so nervous. So once Skully pulls up, he doesn't pull all the way into the warehouse like Franklin intended, right? Pulling into the warehouse would have been a sure way to ambush them, but Skully, who seems to have a spidey sense, tells his driver to stop the car because something seems off to him. I don't care how crazy people want to say Skully is, he freaking has a spidey sense. I'm telling you, every time he feels like something off, it really is. Like this guy, his paranoia is not paranoia. He has like a sixth sense. When he felt like Franklin was setting him up, when he came to him with that offer to take out Manboy, he was right about that. Then he pulls into the garage and he's right about this situation too. All right. Anyway, so he gets out of the car, right? I'm talking about Skully now. He gets out of the car and he starts bugging out, right? He winds up shooting at one of the lights. So because of this, Manboy's nervous soldier comes out of the shed and starts shooting. So now everybody is shooting and there's bullets flying everywhere and the plan has been foiled. Next, they get back to Jerome and Louie's club and everybody is panicking, especially Franklin. He's freaking out because he doesn't know if Skully got hit, which was the whole purpose of this freaking plan, all right? This scene right here was very intense, and the actors did a great job at getting us to kind of feel those emotions, For me, it felt racy and scary, and that was enough, right? Next, Franklin goes home to try to convince his parents that they need to go somewhere else for safety, but his parents tell him, look, we're not going away, okay? We didn't run the first time you came with some drama. We're not running now. Of course, Franklin was pissed at them, but his mom points out that he has some nerve being mad at them when he's the one who put them in jeopardy. So now Franklin has to go into hiding and he decides to go to this chick named T's house, okay? She appeared at Jerome and Louie's party in the first episode, but I didn't mention her. Anyway, Franklin tries to get T to ask around about Skully to see if he's alive. T tells him that she'll try her best to get the info without looking suspicious. So before we move on, guys, I just want to say that I'm not sure how I feel about this girl, T. I'm not sure if she could be trusted, but we'll see. Next, Franklin calls Fatback from a payphone and asks him if he heard anything about Skully. But Fatback was like, you was the one that was there. Like, I don't know nothing. How am I supposed to know, right? So Franklin just tells Fatback and Leon to be careful. Watch your backs, all right? Next, Franklin and the crew meet up with Manboy, and he's disrespectful right out the gate, okay? And he insults Franklin's plan by saying, great freaking plan. And of course, he didn't say freaking, right? But we're going to keep it clean. And Franklin's crew just allows Manboy to talk this way, right? With no consequences whatsoever. It's even to the point where Manboy's crew is disrespectful to the people in Franklin's crew as well. Like, it's just disrespect from the head on down, okay? Anyway, Manboy tells Franklin that Skully is dead and that he shot Skully himself. So after Franklin asks if Manboy was sure, he says to Manboy, if Skully is dead, then everything is fine. So Manboy walks back to his car and pretty much says mockingly, everything's fine. And for me, this reaction from Manboy was something that Franklin should really pay attention to, you know? Next, Oso and Reed meet up with the Mexican police chief, who is giving them a hard time about the prior arrangement they had with the former police chief. This new police chief wants $100,000 weekly just to look the other way. And Reed is like, are you crazy? That's highway robbery. I cannot pay you that. So Reed settles on $50,000, but tells the chief that he needs a few days to see if he could get it cleared. So the police chief says, sure, you can take a few days. But there was something about his tone that I didn't like. And seems like there's a lot of untrusting tones in this episode, okay? Anyway, if you guys recall in the first episode, Oso told Reed that they should pay the guy whatever he asked for because they can't take the risk of saying no. And we did see what that risk was later on in this episode, okay? Next, T comes to the club and she tells Franklin and the crew that Skully was shot, but he's not dead, just real mad. Next, we see Skully picking a bullet out of his arm with a knife. He gets the bullet out and blood's just gushing down that arm like crazy. I'm like, yo, put something over that thing and stop the blood. What the heck? Anyway, he tells his crew to find Franklin, right? Find Franklin Saint. I don't care what it takes. So Franklin's choice to choose a disrespectful snake like Manboy has backfired on him, and he now has a target on his back. So now he done made himself be a part of this war when before he was not, okay? And my thing is, they should have just listened to Louie and they wouldn't even be in this mess, you know? It's like she wasn't even there because when she said what she said, it didn't seem like they even considered it, you know? Next, Franklin tells his crew to cut off Skully's supply so they could starve him out. Then he gets a page from Nix because he wants his weekly payment. So they go meet up with Nix and Franklin makes him an offer to give him a high-profile bust by giving up Skully's crew. So Nix tells him he wants $20,000 and he'll look into it, especially because Inglewood is not his area. Next, Leon, Fatback, and Eager Kid go meet up with some essays for a possible connect. But when they pulled up, things looked a little spooky to them, and when the essays get out of the car, they run back to their car because they feared it was a setup. But it really didn't look like a setup to me, okay, guys? The essays were just approaching them, and Leon and his crew fled off of paranoia, if you ask me. Next, Officer Nix goes to scope out Skully's territory with 2 other cops. But when the other cops see what they're up against, like snipers and gate rammers and firepower, they told Nix not to bother them with anything like that again, okay? And just let them animals kill each other. And I'm like, ain't that how they really feel? Anyway, Nix is pissed now and thinks that Franklin tried to set him up. So he goes to the shelter that Alton runs and tells Alton to pass on the message to Franklin that he now wants his weekly payoff doubled. But when Alton tells Officer Nix to tell Franklin that his daggone self and get about my place, Officer Nix tries to physically threaten Alton. But the reporter Irene steps in and says to Nix, am I writing a story on police provocation? So this makes Nix back off and he leaves. So before Irene came to the rescue, she was already in the shelter trying to get Alton to answer her questions. But Alton was like, nah, get out of here, right? I don't have time for this. But while she was in her car trying to leave, she saw Officer Nix walk into the shelter and she knew that it couldn't be anything good that he was up to, right? So she went back into the shelter. Now, this time she gets Alton to agree to do a piece on him. So we're going to see how this nosy freaking reporter, what kind of mess she's going to stir up, guys. And I'm pretty sure it's just going to drive more conflict within the series. Anyway, next, Alton tells Franklin what happened and what Nix said. So Sissy tells Franklin that nothing he's doing is working, so he needs the help of a man named Paul Davis. This is a man that she's been trying to get in contact with, right? Sissy tells Franklin that this man has influence with city council and the police commissioner, and he's also raising money for the mayor. And, you know, Sissy may be right about this because the way Alton tells it, Paul Davis is as dirty as they come. So if he's paid right, It sounds like he won't mind working with a drug dealer, okay? Next, we get to the last scene where Oso arrives at Hernan and Nuvia's house, and he finds them dead, and their children appear to be missing. Now, this situation may have happened because the Mexican police chief wasn't happy about the $50,000, or maybe they just took too long to pay him anything, right? But it does go back to what Oso said in episode 1. We need to pay him what he wants because we can't risk saying no. So I'm guessing that these are the risks, and I'm not really sure what kind of police chief we're dealing with here, okay? Because for him to have Hernan killed is kind of like, it just seems like, who is he connected with that he would go that far about some money? You know, it's either you're going to take the money, right? Or you're not, right? And if you're not going to come killing anybody. You're just not going to look the other way. Obviously, they won't be able to pass. They won't be able to move the weight. Like, it's just, I don't understand this. So to me, this new police chief guy, he has to be connected to probably some type of cartel or something, because that was some ruthless crap right there. All right. Anyway, guys, that was the episodes. Okay. Both of them 2 in 1, right? So let me know your thoughts. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. I can't wait to see what you guys think about the season premiere. I think it's great. Great start. So much drama ahead, and I just can't wait. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. You take care and be blessed. Bye-bye.